did ancient humans actually eat every single day? You just opened your refrigerator. You see yogurt from last week, a bag of spinach, some leftover noodles. You close the door and order a burger on your phone. But the real answer is far stranger. Your great-great-great-grandmother never did that. Neither did her grandmother. Go back 200,000 years. Go back 500,000 years. What did your ancestors actually eat every single day? Not what you think. You imagine a caveman ripping into a giant mammoth steak. You see raw meat dripping with blood. You picture fire and bones scattered across the dirt. That image is wrong. It is almost completely backward. Here is the truth that changes everything. Your ancestors were not mostly meat eaters. They were not mostly hunters. They were scavengers, gatherers, and opportunistic eaters who survived on foods you would not recognize as food. Let's start with the single most important food in ancient human history. You never see it in movies about cavemen. You never hear it mentioned in diet books. Tubers, underground roots, bulbs, rhizomes, the thick starchy organs of plants that hide beneath the soil. Your ancestors ate them by the pound. Every single day. Why? Because tubers are reliable. A mammoth can run away, a deer can hide. But a yam, it stays exactly where it grew. It does not fight back. It does not migrate with the seasons. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham from Harvard proposed something radical. He argued that cooking tubers over fire is what allowed the human brain to grow. Raw tubers are hard to digest. Cooked tubers release massive amounts of energy. That energy fed your growing brain. Your ancient gut shrank. Your teeth got smaller. Your skull expanded. All because someone figured out how to dig up a root and throw it in hot ash. But you did not stop there. You ate insects? Yes. Termites, ants, beetle larvae, crickets. You used a thin stick to poke into a termite mound. You pulled out a wriggling protein snack. 50 grams of termites give you about the same protein as a beef patty. Archaeologist Julius Kieschnig found stone tools in South Africa with termite mound residue, dating back 170,000 years. Your ancestors were not disgusted by bugs, they were smart enough to eat them. You also ate honey, real honey from wild bees. You followed a bird called the honey guide. The bird led you to a hive. You smashed it open with a rock. You ate the comb, the wax, the larvae, and the sweet golden sugar inside. Honey was the only source of concentrated sweetness in your world. No candy bars, no soda, just pure wild honey. And you risked 50 bee stings to get it. You ate small animals, not mammoths, not giant sloths, lizards, frogs, snails, tortoises, birds' eggs, baby rodents, anything you could catch with your bare hands or a simple digging stick. Where are the giant mammoth steaks? They happened, but rarely. Hunting a mammoth took dozens of people. It took careful planning. It took spears and coordination. And one mammoth kill could feed a group for weeks. But those kills were events, celebrations. They were not your daily breakfast. Your daily breakfast was a handful of seeds, a few crunchy grasshoppers, a burned root from last night's fire, maybe a piece of bone marrow if someone found a carcass. Let's talk about bone marrow. This is where the real science gets interesting. When lions or hyenas killed an animal, your ancestors waited. They watched from a distance. They saw the predators eat their fill. They saw them walk away. Then your ancestors ran in with sharp stones and smashed the leftover bones open. Inside the bones was marrow, soft, fatty, delicious. You scraped it out with a stick. You ate it raw or smeared it on a hot rock. Researcher Henry Bunn from the University of Wisconsin studied ancient cut marks on fossilized animal bones. He found something strange. The cut marks were not on the meaty parts. They were on the ends of bones, the parts that held marrow. Your ancestors were not hunting giants. They were scavenging leftovers and cracking bones like peanuts. You also ate your vegetables. Not the vegetables you buy at a grocery store. wild versions, carrots that were thin and bitter, broccoli that did not exist yet, cabbage that had not been invented. You ate leafy greens, dandelion leaves, nettle shoots, wild celery. You chewed on grass stems. You dug up cattail roots from swamps. You peeled the bark off certain trees and ate the soft inner layer. You ate nuts, acorns, walnuts, hazelnuts. You cracked them between two stones. You ground them into a coarse paste. You mixed that paste with water and drank it like porridge. You ate seeds, wild grass seeds, the ancestors of wheat and barley. But you did not grind them into flour. You did not bake bread. That came much later. You just chewed the raw seeds, or you soaked them in water until they softened. Here is the counterintuitive twist. Your ancestors were not following a single diet. They were not paleo. They were not keto. They were not vegan. They ate whatever was available. In 1 week, you might eat 40 different species of plants and 20 different animals. Your gut microbiome evolved to handle chaos. You could eat a poisonous mushroom one day and be fine because you ate clay with it that bound the toxin. You could eat rotting meat because your stomach acid was stronger than a lion's. Modern humans have lost that flexibility. Your gut is weaker. Your teeth are softer. Your immune system freaks out when it sees a peanut. But here is the mirror that reflects back on your life today. You still crave what your ancestors craved. You crave sugar because honey was rare and precious. You crave fat because marrow was a life-saving energy bomb. You crave salt because you lost it through sweat and there was no salt shaker in the savannah. Your brain has not changed. Your environment has. When you eat a donut, your ancient reward system lights up like firework.